Hey everybody, we are talking about interpretation now, the second step in Bible study methods. We just went over observation, which asks the question, what does the text say? And now we're moving to interpretation, which asks the question, what does it mean? So on the foundation of observation, you're picking up all these details, and a really natural thing that's going to happen is you're going to start asking a lot of questions. And that's exactly where interpretation starts. Interpretation starts with asking questions, and that's why observation matters so much, is that if you're not careful in your observation, you'll probably miss most of what could be asked of a text, and then you can't find any answers. So careful observation will lead to great interpretation. So once you have observed a lot in your text, you can start asking questions and writing all those down. And then interpretation goes a step further and begins to answer those questions. So if interpretation says, well, what does that mean? For example, you would say, for God so loved the world that he gave. What does it mean that God gave? What does it mean that God so loved? How did he love? All those are interpretive questions. And then you will learn to answer those questions. And that can feel intimidating and scary, because it's one thing to find some nouns and some verbs, and it's another thing to make a statement about what something in the Bible means, especially when you're trying to connect it to other themes and other things in the scripture. But don't be afraid. We have some guardrails. We have some tools for you. So one of the first things you should do to answer your questions that come up from observation is to first look at your context. Your context is the immediate verses surrounding your text, before and after. It can lean into a whole chapter, a whole section in a book, and the whole book. Your context is probably going to answer a vast majority of your questions. This is the best thing to do when you're trying to understand a text. The other thing that you can use is something called cross-references. Cross-references are different verses in the Bible that talk about the same thing. The best tool to use to interpret the Bible is actually the Bible. And so you can look up cross-references from a study Bible, and you can look up cross-references from an app like Blue Letter Bible or Bible Gateway. They'll give you cross-references. And these things are going to give you the wisdom of the whole scripture on that verse. It's going to help you understand what the Bible is saying. Another thing that you can use is a dictionary. It sounds so simple, but there's so many words that we assume the meaning to, or maybe we think we're half sure. And looking it up can really clarify what something might mean and what it doesn't. It's a really great journey just to use a dictionary. You don't have to know Greek, just look up the English words. And the other thing to do that's going to actually really help, and we say apply Jesus. You apply Jesus to what's going on. There are sections of the scripture that are radically different if you apply Jesus coming. Something like Deuteronomy is very different. Deuteronomy gives a covenant of do right and you will be blessed. Do wrong and it will not go well. And we have a different covenant where Jesus has done everything right for us, and we are no longer under a curse. So applying Jesus to many of your texts really matters. So using those guardrails of your context, your cross-references, a dictionary, and applying Jesus are going to give you great guardrails and give you great guides on how to understand what something means in the scripture, why it matters, why it's significant. Those are really going to help. And I know it seems scary, but I know you can do it. I think after you do that work, then maybe dip into some sermons and maybe some commentaries. Not against looking at commentaries first, but I think you should do your own work in trying to use the context and the cross-references for you to understand what something means before you ask someone else, just so you don't short-circuit your own learning journey. You will retain way more if you discover it than if you just look for someone's answer. So let's use John 3:16 as a quick example, because we just used that. So in something like John 3:16, you've already noticed nouns and you've already noticed verbs, and now you're asking natural questions from what should I see here? So some good questions would be, since God is the main noun here, what is it that God did? That's a valid question. What did he do? Look at the verbs of what he did. Other things you can ask. Since you have the connecting words of that is usually a connecting word that is connecting two different ideas. So ask yourself, what ideas are being connected with the word that? You can also ask, what two things are being contrasted with the word but? If there were a word and, you can look at what two things are being correlated. All those are good questions for your text, and you can answer those by looking at your immediate context. So don't be afraid to understand the meaning of the scripture. Your careful observation will give you great interpretation. Using your context and your cross-references will answer a vast majority of your questions. And doing those two things carefully are actually going to set you up for great application and really working in God's word into your life in a really truthful, accurate, and biblical way.